Hey guys, first I want to say that this is probably going to be a bit confusing of a request. So that is why I chose to create a video. We're going to be putting together a budget for 2021. Now I realize that we created a budget in 2020 and 3 months into the year, we ended up getting hit with the social distancing challenges that come along with a worldwide pandemic. So creating this budget is going to be a little different, and we're going to ask you to be creative and think outside of the box because we still need you guys to help us move the vision forward in your particular ministry areas while we're still unable to meet in person. As a matter of fact, not being able to meet in our building should only highlight the elements of ministry that we need to shore up outside of the Sunday morning gatherings. So with that being said, here is what I need for you guys to think about. Judging by the way that the vaccine is rolling out, it could be potentially July or August of 2021 before we can gather in large groups again. One thing that this pandemic has shown me is we need to be flexible and adaptable because life as we know it can change in an instant. And disciples and disciple making need to still fulfill the Great Commission even when we're thrown a curveball. So we anticipate that some questions are going to be coming, like, when are you going to meet again? We actually don't have an answer. Besides, we will know when we know. Let's not forget the effects of the Spanish flu lasted a couple of years, and we are much more of an interconnected community than they were then. In response to the when question, I want to ask you guys the how question. You see, the more pressing question is how would you fulfill your ministry role if this thing lasted for 2 more years? What if our current reality was the new normal? How would you proceed? So here's an example of what I'm talking about. Let's say student ministry. Is there technology or equipment that is needed to better help students engage better than our current Zoom meetings? Or could we add other things to the Zoom experience to make it better? Or our worship team? Would we want to do more outdoor worship gatherings? Or is there more technology or methods that we can implement that allows us to connect with people better? So you get the point. So please pray, think outside the box, think uncomfortable, and act as if your ministry area hinged on a successful strategy of making disciples in 2021.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Okay, Jesus is our hope, and he will build the church, but he chooses to use us as he sees fit. You know, he has tasked us with making disciples and connecting with people, and our social situations have not changed things. I also need you guys to help engage others in our church this year. It starts now, and it starts with you, our leaders. So please pray that God renews your strength and give you a strategy to help accomplish his vision for 2021. Here's some things I believe we need to consider about doing ministry moving forward in the first part of 2021. I believe that initially, the majority of attendees, even when we get back in the same room, they will be online and in smaller groups at homes. Because of this, we need to connect with the people on as many fronts as we can. This shifts the greater emphasis on spiritual formation towards the home as opposed to our building, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. That's what we really want to do as a ministry, right? We have to think the greatest connecting point might just be through a phone. People have access to the best content online at their fingertips. So we need to create healthy community connecting points. Let's face it, if it's between watching me with no connection or name any pastor with a big social media presence, most are going to choose the person with the bigger social following. Even some are currently going to our church and watching other sermons. That's okay. But we want to make disciples because we understand that that's what we're called here to do. The local church is called to connect. So we need to connect. Simply streaming is not going to be enough. We have a talented group of people on this team. This may cause you as a leader to get more people involved in your particular ministry area to help them also own the vision. The language should shift from volunteering to serving or engaging. It doesn't have to be that deep. It's time for us as leaders to lead. to transition from high capacity doers that can multitask many functions to discipling others to do a portion of what we currently do. Virtual engagement is an area that could be a game changer for our ministry. And there will also be generational barriers that we can't accomplish with just one method of connection. So we need to repurpose the information for different demographics if we are going to continue to be a next generation church. And finally, the solutions we come up with should be solutions moving forward. We will eventually be able to meet in large groups again, but even then, we will not be able to scrap the online ministry efforts or the connecting elements that we implement. Listen, God has called us to make disciples even in the midst of this pandemic. And so I'm calling on you guys to put on your thinking caps, to be creative, to be all in, and to help us accomplish the mission, vision, values of Northeast Community Church in the world. Listen, again, I'm praying for you to be refreshed and renewed and have a brand new vigor to tackle the challenge of leading the church in the pandemic and in the post-pandemic world. Listen, I love you guys. Reach out with some of your ideas, some of the things that you want to add to the budget, and that's going to be the starting point so that we can better see how we're going to accomplish what God has us to accomplish in 2021 and moving forward.